to go. Cheers, thanks.
Joe, if we just start with yourself, how excited are you and the whole squad about Saturday's cup final?
Yeah, we're extremely excited. We've got really fond memories of this trophy last year, so yeah, it's all systems go this week. We're coming off of a positive result on Sunday, which has put us in a good position for Saturday's game, so we're just looking for a good training week and into a positive day on Saturday, hopefully.
What would winning this cup do for you and the squad this season?
Yeah, it's exactly the same as every single year being at Rangers. You know, we're expected to be in finals, we're expected to win trophies, but you know, I think this year, I think you can see the competitiveness of the top six and the league as a whole. You know, the last year the top two weren't in the final. You know, we managed to cancel each other out in the semi-final, so I think it brings a little bit of extra spice this year. Also, we haven't beat our opponents in the league this year either, so that's a little bit of an added incentive for us. So yeah, it's looking to build up to be an exciting game, but you know, we're so consistent in what we do week in, week out, that this week's another week and we're building towards another big game.
You talk about that added incentive, playing Hibs. They obviously beat you 3-0 last time you met.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you owe them one, or do you have to park that result and just focus on this one separately? How do you approach it?
Yeah, I don't feel like we owe them one. I feel like we owe ourselves one, because I think those couple of weeks we really felt like we let ourselves down. As a group, as a collective, you know, there's definitely things that we could have done differently. We could have performed better. You know, these could have been different decisions made. So we really reflected on that, and we came back after Christmas in a really good spot. We didn't shy away from, you know, the tough conversations and letting each other know what we needed to do better in the right way. So we owe it to ourselves, I think, more than anyone, to put it right for us more than anybody else, especially with it being our trophy.
And just on Hibs specifically, have you been surprised by them this season, Joe? I mean, they've not dropped a point since November.
Yeah.
It's on the league. Do you feel that was always coming, as you say, the league in general is getting stronger every year?
I think we always knew that Hibs had that potential. I think it's got to such a rise in such a short amount of time, which has probably raised a few eyebrows, but we all know that these players, and Grant's been around the league for a long time, and you know what they're doing right now is they've got great momentum and they've got great confidence. They've got a really good couple of results. I think what was more surprising for me is it's lasted so long, you know, with the consistency of it, which is great for them. We want to be the ones to stop it, obviously, and lift a trophy. So, you know, we're looking to try and have a little bit more consistency ourselves, and it's great that the league's in a position that it's in, because for me right now it's the most competitive around, and I think it adds to an extra special cup final this year.
You mentioned there that the trophy is yours.
Mm-hmm.
Do you park that going into this game at the weekend, or do you use the confidence and the swagger of the last two wins of this cup when you go into that game?
No, we absolutely use it. We use the fond memories. I think it's super important because we've experienced these moments. We've got to pull on these experiences from previous years. Remember the good times, remember the good memories, remember the celebrations, remember lifting that trophy. It'll all lift our confidence going into this game. But we also don't shy away from the hard work that we need to do and what's in front of us to be able to lift that trophy. So yeah, we've got to pull on every positive memory that we can right now.
And you have lots of winners in this team, including Nicola. How important is your captain going to be this weekend?
Oh, it's super important, you know, to have players that have experienced these moments time and time again, lifted the trophy, lost out on these days as well. Those experiences make such a difference, you know, because they'll know how they need to feel going into this game. They know the preparation, what it takes. They'll know moments in big games that can matter. And we'll be using all of the experienced players' knowledge going into this game, and hopefully they can bring it out on Saturday.
And yes, there's a trophy on the line this Saturday, but what can winning that do for your league form too, considering it is just Hibs that are above you?
Yeah, it can be super helpful. You know, you want to win every game. You can see each week now that there seems to be a top runner at the league every single week, which is it's great for everybody. It's so close. It's really competitive, but winning a trophy adds something extra special. And the first one of the season is super important. We felt that with us last year. Hopefully we can pull on those experiences again and pick up on another good little run and get our hands back on that on Saturday.
And last one for me, Nicola, what would it mean to you to retain this trophy for a third time, but not just that, to do it against the team that you've yet to taste victory against?
Yeah, it would mean everything. I think based on obviously the last result that we had against Hibs, as Joe's already said, the disappointment, and we let ourselves down that day. So we're looking to bounce back, and it's a cup final. So yeah, it's a trophy that's ours right now, and we want to try and maintain that as well.
Nicola, what are Hibs' strengths? What were their strengths that day when they beat you?
I think it was just their aggression. They were first and second to every ball, and we just weren't ourselves that day, and we know that we can bring that side to us as well. We've got midfielders who are aggressive, we've got defenders who are aggressive, so we just need to make sure that we bring that and match that against Hibs on Saturday.
For a big cup final like this on Saturday, you want for big team talks, or are you a bit more coy about it? What will be your approach on Saturday?
To be fair, I'm not really one for big team talks. I kind of speak to people like individually. I think that's just me. But look, there's a lot of experience within the dressing room. People have their people to go to, and we obviously have our team talks from Joe right before the game, so that gets us up for it.
Obviously, you've been around trophies so often, Nicola. You're such an experienced player. Is the hunger there with you just the same as it was when you were young, before you won any silverware? Is it even more now that you're experienced? What's it like?
I think it just gets even better, to be honest. I think any time that you win a trophy, it's as good as the last one. If you compare it to the very first trophy I've won in my career to winning another one potentially on Saturday, it feels even better.
Just wanted to ask you as well about the crowd we're expecting here at the weekend. What do you expect to see from the Rangers supporters? And what would you say to the Rangers supporters perhaps of the men's team? Obviously the men's won't be playing this weekend. What would you be saying to them ahead of this weekend?
I think if they've never been to a game, why not just give it a go? I think if you certainly look at our performance on Sunday, the way that we moved the ball, we've got a talented group of players. We're definitely worth the watch, so if you haven't tried it, get yourself along. But we've also got the fans that turn up week in, week out at Broadwood that are always loud, they're always there no matter where we are, home and away. So I think credit to those fans that come and watch us every week, but if you haven't seen it before, definitely come and watch.
Nick, you're obviously no stranger to getting up for a cup final for this club. Do you ever get used to it?
To be honest, I'm not really one of those players that gets that nervous. So I'm quite chilled in my approach to cup finals. Obviously, I've won a few over the years, but yeah, I'd say I'm pretty used to it by now.
And Joe, just looking at that performance on Sunday, that was probably another ruthless display from your team. Has that kind of been the message this season? We've seen your side score so many goals in so many games this season. Are you just focusing on just getting that ruthless streak in the side?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we lost out on a treble last year from goal difference. We know how that felt. That wasn't nice. We never wanted to feel that feeling again. And I think that showed in some score lines. You know, you can see our goal difference now is heavily in our favour. We knew that was our downfall last year, so we never wanted it to come down to that again. I think, you know, that's one thing that we looked at the start of the season and said, yeah, that won't happen to us. We just need to make sure that we're picking up the points along the way to match the goals that we are scoring now. So, you know, the league's super competitive. Teams are all up for trying to win that trophy this year. It's not just 2 and 3 teams that are going at it. You know, the top 5, top 6 are well capable of being able to do that. So, you know, it makes for a super competitive finish to the season, an exciting week to week as well.
Well, just speaking of trebles, I think I know what your answer is going to be, but does that slip into the thinking at all, knowing that it's still within your grasp?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, right now we're probably the only team that's in all 3 competitions, which is really important for us. No matter if we want to get away from that fact, we can't, because we'll always hear about it, and we were so close to doing it last year. Don't want it to kind of be the elephant in the room anyway. You know, we need to make sure that we know it's a possibility, and that's what we want to strive for. You know, I think I said one of my first days coming into this job was I got told win a treble and you'll be all right, which is never an easy feat. We were so close to it last year, and we know if we did it this year, it'd be 10 times harder than what it would have been in any other season, just with the competitive levels. So, you know, it's not a thing that we're looking at. It's still there, it's in the peripherals, it's in the background, people talk about it. We know what's at stake, we know we're in those competitions, and we've just got to make sure we're doing our business week in, week out.
And you've talked many times about, you know, losing out last season by a whisker. Does that still motivate you, and Nick as well? Do you guys still feel that fire from being so close to missing out last time round?
To be honest, I think as soon as that day happened, we just use it as a drive. and we obviously know that the disappointment of that last day of the season, obviously it hurt a lot. It took a long time to get over it, but for us as a group and the mentality we've got within the group, we certainly use it as a drive.
Yeah, same. I think you can see that one of the things that we fell short on was goal difference, and we've improved that. We wanted to make improvements this year. We wanted to be better. Everybody was improving a tremendous amount. We wanted to do that ourselves, so we've improved on that form. So we use it when we need to use it. I think it's important that you don't dwell on the bad too much either. So, we'll look at the good stuff that we've done, and we've had a really good performance on Sunday, and hopefully that puts us in a confident state going into Saturday.